Hi, I'm Bruce Haxton. I'm founder of the Tuk Tuk Club. We're based in Chiang Mai in Northern Thailand, and we run tuk tuk adventures through the mountains of Chiang Mai and Mae Hong Son. Um, I should say award-winning tuk tuk adventures. We run a different duration from 1 through to 11 days, 11 days being our original and still our best adventure, with the real aim of what we do to get people off the beaten track and right into the heart of this beautiful part of the country. That's a really difficult question. I've been lucky enough to work in the travel industry and to travel for so much of my life. But I think I probably go all the way back into the mists of time to when I was 18 and I was lucky enough to travel in India on my own, which was an amazing experience. But I spent 3 days hiking up in the Himalaya in Kashmir, which was incredible. The mountains and the scenery was superb. But what really stuck in my head was the guide I had with me, a guy called Abdul. Spending time with him, listening to his stories, listening to how his life had been, his family, his religion, the culture, sharing food, sharing the adventure with him. That was what made that experience so amazing. And it was at that point that I realized for me, travel was not just about seeing amazing places, but more so about the people I met, the journeys you shared, and the learning. Finding out that Abdul came from a totally different background to myself, totally different way of life, but actually we had so many things in common. And I think that experience shaped not only my life, but also, I guess, guided me in the way I like to do business in the travel industry, and it formed everything I like to do in this industry. The reason I founded the Tuk Tuk Club, well, there were two core reasons. Firstly, rightly or wrongly, I had the feeling that adventure travel was no longer adventurous. I had this desire to put the adventure back into adventure travel and not just follow everybody else and do the same itineraries and go to the same places in the same manner. I had this feeling that as an industry, we were letting down travelers by not giving them enough choice and not really offering them enough exciting things to do. The second element was I have a real passion for Thailand. I get very frustrated when people think Thailand's just about beaches, full moon parties, and slightly dodgy bars. The real Thailand is an amazing place, full of culture, full of amazing scenery, full of wonderful people and great experiences. And I wanted to play my part in bringing that to the fore rather than just the same old built up beach resorts. I think that's a brilliant question. And honestly, I don't think that one can exist without the other. If we look at things in a responsible way, and if we really think deeply about what we do in the tourism industry, um, we have to benefit communities and cultural areas socioeconomically to exist. Um, we wouldn't go into a restaurant and have a meal and think about not paying and benefiting the restaurant. So why would we visit a community and have an amazing experience within that culture without them benefiting too? It's not always prioritized in the travel industry, but fortunately, more and more, I think companies are looking at this. But from my own perspective, it fundamentally underpins absolutely everything we do. We're very lucky at the Tuk Tuk Club that we've always based our adventures and what we do around culture and people. Sure, we use tuk tuks, and that's great fun. But the real enjoyment of what we do is to get deep into the heart of the mountains and the communities in those mountains. And the fact that that is what we talk about and what we deliver means that actually any time of year is a great time of year to explore. Um, that there is a traditional high season here in the north of Thailand, which is the winter months, sort of November through February. But ironically, we actually steer people. If they say, what's the best time of year? We say, come now. Rainy season is unbelievable because everything's green, everything's growing. There's a sense of optimism in the air. But then again, if you can only come at Easter, it's hot, but then you experience the culture and the people when it's hot. So by basing our programs around culture, people, it really does take away that seasonality. And that means that our partners, owners of small hotels, community guides, etc., they can get year-round revenue too. So everybody wins. I'd like to be really cheeky here and say the easiest way is to come and travel with the Tuk Tuk Club. But that would be a bit unfair. There are so many wonderful experiences around the world. Um, I think my key messages to people would be brave, do something different. You don't always have to go to the same old places that are world famous. They can be fantastic, but when they are really famous, accept the fact that they're going to be busy, and people in those areas may well become a bit jaded. If you have to go there, perhaps go out of season when it's quieter. But think about, in Thailand, the government here call them second tier location or third tier locations. Go to places that perhaps you haven't heard of before. It's amazing the way you're treated in places where tourism is less of a big thing. I'd also say when you're picking, if you're traveling with a company, make sure they have local guides. Why would you be guided by someone who's not a native of that country? I have no idea. And look at the pace of travel. If you're jumping from place to place every day in a minivan, your journey is going to become about the endpoints. It's not really going to be terribly immersive. Slow down, take time, spend 3 nights somewhere, 2 nights somewhere instead of just 1 night every time. But I guess the key message is be brave, do something different. The likelihood is if it's different, you're going to be seeing new things and you're going to be going to areas where perhaps tourism is a little newer and you get that really authentic experience.